Hey everyone! As you know, there's never a dull moment around the modern household. So far this week, we fixed the car, we fixed the hot tub, and then Heather and I were trying to have a nice lunch after church here on Sunday, and we're sitting at the counter eating, and the refrigerator started going on and off. I could hear the compressor going on and off, on and off. I said, what is that? And we looked over and the control panel there was flashing various things. Random lights were going on and off on the control panel. And we tried pushing a few things, and a few minutes later, it was completely dead and dark. So the refrigerator literally died right in front of our eyes on Sunday afternoon. So what to do next? But call Captain Fixit. So that's never a fun thing because you've got frozen food, your refrigerated food, and the clock starts, right? Luckily, there's always friends you can rely on. No one has freezer space anymore, but our friends were able to find some freezer space for us, and we put our food at friends' houses. So that bought me a day because this was on Sunday. Parts places are closed, the repairmen are closed, so Sunday, no good. So it kind of felt like a main control board to me because it wasn't like the compressor was off or it wasn't cooling very well or something like that. It was freaking out with various lights flashing on and off. So that's your controller flashing lights on and off. Sounded like it was going out to me. So Heather did call some repair people, got some quotes. They thought the symptoms did sound like the master control board, and they estimated the repair to be around $600. Looking online, I did find the control board. You can order one for $230 and have it shipped to you. Of course, not good when you don't have a refrigerator in your house. You kind of need it fixed that day. Here's the control board out of the fridge. These black cylindrical things are capacitors. And a couple people reported on the internet that they replaced the capacitors on their control board and got their fridge back up and running without even having to buy a control board. So that was, a couple dollars to get the refrigerator back up and running. I've actually done that same repair on the cooktop burners. We have a fancy Frigidaire cooktop, which is an induction radiant hybrid. And it's like a $1,300 cooktop, and it went out a year or two ago. And the board for it was $600. And observing it, I found the capacitors had a slight bulge to the top. And that clued me in that maybe I could do the repair myself. And I actually replaced the capacitors and got that whole thing going again for a couple dollars. A telltale sign of a bad capacitor is a bulging top. This metal part will bulge outward. It doesn't always show, but if you do see one that's bulging, it's a good indicator that's bad. It doesn't have to show. These aren't really showing any bulge, but still was worth a check just to see if I could fix this by changing capacitors. I actually purchased a while back a capacitance meter so I can check capacitors to see if they're bad. I took a couple of the capacitors out of the circuit because I wanted to measure them without the other components of the circuit affecting my measurement. I desoldered them with my trusty solder sucker and my soldering iron. Maybe I'll have a how-to video on that sometime. So with the capacitor out of the circuit and my capacitance meter, I can see this capacitor is measuring 247 microfarads. It's actually rated at 270. So there's three capacitors there, all three 270 microfarads. One of them was actually right at 270 microfarads, perfectly all right. Two of them were around 250 microfarads. So, just barely 10% out of spec. That's enough that it should not really affect the circuit, so I couldn't really place my bet on replacing the capacitors would fix my situation. And because there's no more Radio Shack stores and it's a refrigerator that's down, we can't really wait for shipping to order in a couple capacitors to see if that fixes it, and if it doesn't, then a few more days to order in a new control board and have the refrigerator down that whole time. So I went ahead and made the call just to go straight to replacing the whole control board. Let's get this thing fixed, bite the bullet, get this thing fixed, and then get the household up and running with the refrigerator. I actually saved the capacitors I replaced in that cooktop, the bad ones, so I can show you what it looks like when a capacitor goes bad. You can just see that little slight bulge. So if it's not perfectly flat top, there you can see the top just starting to bulge a little bit. That was enough to clue me in that if I replace these capacitors, I might be able to fix that. And sure enough, This saved me a $600 control board for our cooktop just by replacing these capacitors. So that's soldering's a good skill to have, or if you have a friend that can solder, they could maybe help you out in a pinch sometime. All right, back to our refrigerator control board. Luckily, a quick Yellow Pages search on the internet for my local appliance parts store. I gave them a call, and with my part number, they had the board I need in stock for $108. So that's even a savings over the internet. I was very excited. I ran right over there and picked it up, and then we're ready to install it. Getting to the control board was easy, except for the part of pulling the refrigerator out from the wall. Ours was actually wedged in between the countertop and the wall, and it took 2 people to get it out. So after getting the refrigerator pulled out, the control panel is just right back here behind a panel with 4 bolts holding it on, and then it just snaps in place. There are 4 connectors. All right, so I'll show you the reinstallation of the new control board. Keeping in mind the old one came out in just the reverse process. Got our new control board here. It's really quite handy. It just snaps in this plastic retainers and all the connectors clip on. And then there's 4 bolts. So we just put this under the connectors. This is a retaining clip. And this is a retaining clip. I just pushed them to a side with a screwdriver to get this out in the first place. I think to put this back in. I was trying to put it in upside down. I'll turn it over. There we go. Get it in here, under the clips. That fits better. Snap it in. And then we just got to reattach our connectors. And my little batteries died in my light. That's all right. Let's finish this up here. Very good. Here, I'll turn my flashlight on. How's that? All right, how's this cute little clear cover goes on here. I don't know, I guess we might as well plug it in before we put the bolts back in. All right, let's just plug it in to test it. Everybody hold your breath. And then I did learn that you have to program your board for your refrigerator, and this is the normal startup display. So apparently the boards are manufactured to be used in various Whirlpool models, which have different features. You have to tell the board what kind of refrigerator it's in so it knows how to operate the compressor and the ice maker and all that stuff. So let's see. I saw on the internet that inside your label here with the model and serial number, there's a code, and that's your programming code for the controller. So this is a 2020. All right, let's see here. From watching a tutorial online, we need to put this in programming mode by holding temp alarm and the down arrow. And then releasing temp alarm. Like that. And then click the down arrow again. And 2020, so that decimal point is next to the number you are changing. Our code was 2020. I believe it's the up button, 2, and then move the decimal point over, 0, and then we need 2 again, and 0, so 2020, and then I think it was a hold this one, and it's flashing PE 2020, and then hit any button to leave that mode. Let's see. Oh. So freezer temperature -1, fridge 38. All right, so the fridge has come back on. Control panel looks normal. Well, let's let her cool down here before we declare it fixed and move all our food back. All right, while we wait for the fridge to cool back down, let's put the panel back on the back. A simple panel with 4 1/4-inch bolts on it. Screws in place right there. And then we'll wait for the fridge. There we go. It was a busy week around the house for Captain Fixit this week. Let's recap. We fixed the car, fixed the hot tub, and fixed the refrigerator. We know the part for the car is $350 from General Motors, plus have a dealership installed. I'm sure it would have been somewhere around a total of $600. And we got that part for $18 and did it ourselves. The hot tub, the new control board, was $260, and to have a hot tub repairman come to your house, I bet that would have been towards $600. And then the refrigerator control board, $108, and we got quoted over the phone $600 repair to have a repairman come do that. So for the hands-off homeowner, we would have spent $1,800 in repairs this week, and we would felt like we were just under attack and really broke the bank. But we were able to do all these repairs for $386, so that was quite a savings. We saved enough money we could still take the family out to dinner tonight to celebrate. All right, until next time.